Let me give you a practical toolkit for identifying misleading health information online, because in today's information environment, these skills are essential for protecting yourself and your family. I'm going to walk you through specific red flags and verification techniques. First, check the source credentials, but do it carefully. Someone having MD or PhD after their name doesn't automatically make them an expert on the topic they're discussing. A cardiologist isn't necessarily qualified to make definitive claims about vaccines. A PhD in English literature isn't an immunology expert. You need to verify that the person's actual expertise matches the topic they're addressing. Look for conflicts of interest, and remember these can go in multiple directions. Yes, researchers funded by pharmaceutical companies have potential conflicts. But people selling alternative medicine products, supplements, or running subscription-based anti-vaccine platforms also have financial incentives biasing their claims. Follow the money in all directions. Check the publication venue. Peer-reviewed journals have quality control, though it's imperfect. But not all journals are equal. Predatory journals will publish almost anything for a fee without rigorous peer review. You can often spot these by their lack of impact factor, unknown editorial boards, and aggressive solicitation of submissions. Here are common misinformation techniques to watch for. The Gish Gallop involves overwhelming you with numerous weak claims made so rapidly you can't address them all, creating false impression of strong evidence. Cherry-picking means selecting only the studies or data points that support a predetermined conclusion while ignoring contradictory evidence. Appeal to nature fallacy assumes natural things are automatically safer than synthetic ones, which is obviously false given that arsenic, botulism, and rattlesnake venom are all completely natural. Pay attention to language designed to provoke emotional reactions rather than inform. If an article is trying to make you afraid, angry, or outraged rather than thoughtfully considering evidence, that's a red flag. Misinformation often relies on triggering fight-or-flight responses that shut down critical thinking. Look for claims that contradict broad scientific consensus without extraordinary supporting evidence. Science does change, paradigm shifts do happen, but they happen through accumulation of overwhelming evidence, not through single dramatic papers or social media campaigns. When someone claims they've overturned established science, extraordinary skepticism is warranted. Check if studies are being accurately described. This requires actually reading the source material, not just articles about it. I cannot tell you how often I've seen papers wildly misrepresented by people citing them. The paper says one thing in careful scientific language, and the person citing it claims it says something completely different. Use verification tools. PubMed allows you to check whether studies actually exist and read their abstracts. Retraction Watch maintains a database of retracted papers, so you can verify whether that study someone's citing has been withdrawn due to fraud or errors. Science journalists with good track records can help translate research accurately. Here's a practice example. You see a post claiming new study proves vaccines cause autism. Red flags immediately. That contradicts massive scientific consensus. You check the source and find it's not a peer-reviewed study but someone's self-published analysis. The person making the claim sells autism treatment supplements, a major conflict of interest. The language is designed to provoke fear and anger, and when you search PubMed, the actual research doesn't say what the post claims. Watch for citation of retracted studies. Andrew Wakefield's fraudulent autism paper was retracted years ago, yet it still gets cited by anti-vaccine activists. Check Retraction Watch before trusting old citations. Be suspicious of anyone claiming they don't want you to know something or that they're being censored or silenced, especially when they're saying this on massive social media platforms reaching millions of people. Actual censored information doesn't spread virally. Finally, cultivate epistemological humility. Recognize the limits of your own expertise. Understand that you can learn to spot obvious misinformation without becoming an expert qualified to overturn scientific consensus through Google research. The goal isn't to become your own expert on everything, it's to develop good information hygiene so you can identify trustworthy sources and recognize when you're being manipulated.